Hey everybody, welcome in. Uh, Big thanks to my boy Creature Feature right there and his song Chainsaw Man for our intro music today. Check him out on SoundCloud. Creature Feature is Kreature and Feature. He's also, I believe, has a few songs on Amazon and Spotify. Check those out. Really good dude. One of my good friends, great DJ. Now let's get into it. All right, guys. Week 1, Detroit Lions football. It is what it is. It wouldn't be Lions football without some bad referee calls. Um, Name a couple. There was the non-intentional grounding by Jason Hurts. I said Jason Hurts. Both Hurts. Jalen Hurts is what I meant to say. Apologize. Um, he threw that pass when he was getting hit. Didn't pass the line of scrimmage. They said that there was a wide receiver. I've watched that replay 3 or 4 times. Um, Unless his offensive lineman is considered a wide receiver, there's nobody else there. No tight end, no receiver, no running back within 5 yards. So I'm not exactly sure why that wasn't called. Rewatched the Hawkinson thing where he got called for holding. Not sure what that was about. Maybe they called it on the wrong person. I don't know. But Hawkinson didn't do anything. So not sure what that was. I'm still going to say Tracy Walker should have got the penalty for the punch, but he should not have got the penalty for the hit on Jalen Hurts. He was already headed down to tackle Hurts low before Hurts started sliding. What can you do? Hurts decided to slide after that, and he gets hit by Walker. That's on Hurts. Hurts waited too long to slide. If you're going to do that as a running quarterback, you should be able to be hit. You're a running back at that point. It's the same thing with Lamar Jackson. It's the same thing with Josh Allen. It's the same thing with any of those guys who run. You start running, you should be able to be hit. And Walker was already going down to make sure he didn't hit him high, and Jalen Hurts slid. There was no penalty on that play. Goddard got up in his face, got him to overreact and throw a punch. So yes, that was a penalty. Goddard not being called for the taunting on Anzalone on that big play where he almost scored. He got up, stood over him, said something while Anzalone was still on the ground. I thought they were calling taunting. Apparently not. So, sure. The pass interference on Okudah. Okay. I'm not sure what that was. Okay. But in all, we lost that game. Goff threw a touchdown to the other team. No? What can you say about that? That's what Goff does. You know he's good for at least one interception or one fumble a game. It's going to be guaranteed. He's going to have a turnover. So enjoy the games where he doesn't. That's just Goff. Unfortunately, it went for a pick six. They scored. Once again, I think we had some bad clock management. The timeout in that first half towards the end, okay. I know you're trying to get your team a little bit of things, but that was kind of... I don't hate the onside kick like some people. I do, however, I don't like our kicker. I don't think Seibert's the answer, and I don't think he knows how to do these onside kicks. So there's that. The fact Will Harris is still on our roster, I don't know why. He obviously proved why he shouldn't be on a roster again this game. Not much else I could say about that. Let's talk about Swift. That's the Swift we drafted. If he can stay healthy and keep doing that every single game, that's one of his biggest issues is health, right? So, if he can stay healthy and keep doing that, that's great. And to be honest, I didn't notice any big injuries on our team this week. I know Akuda left at the end of the first half, but he came back and played just fine the second half. I don't really see anybody else that had any injury issues, so that's at least good. But Swift did his thing. Swift had over 100 yards. That touchdown run he had was great. That almost touchdown run that he had that set up Jamal Williams, I believe, second touchdown was great. If I believe Jackson was the one downfield, if Jackson would have been in the right spot, I think Swift might have actually scored on that play. Not gonna lie, fantasy football, I have Williams, so kind of glad that Swift didn't score and Williams did, but whatever. Amon-Ra had a couple drops today. You talk bad about Goff all you want. Goff didn't get some help today. Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't drop the ball, and from what I've seen, I know he had at least one drop. People are saying two. Josh Reynolds had an easy catch that was a drop. Chark definitely had a drop. Williams had a really easy drop. Like, these are easy catches that were dropped. The Williams and the Reynolds one especially were like, they were right there. They're right where you need them to be, and they dropped them. Like, you just can't have that. Just can't. Trying to think what else. People are talking bad about the defense. Let's lay this out there. The defense played against a team that a lot of people thought were going to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and they played decently well. They allowed 31 points, which was actually less points than the Eagles allowed. Just because of Goff throwing that interception, they won. Oh, interception, pick six. So technically, those 7 points aren't on the defense because they weren't out on the field for that. And they played overall, like, I'm not going to say they played great, but let's give this credit here. Outside of a few of those really talented rushing quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Marcus Mariota, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and probably he doesn't run a lot, but he can get out of the pocket pretty well. Patrick Mahomes. Outside of those guys, we probably would have had 10 sacks today. Our pressure was great. And you also have to remember that people are saying that the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is definitely top 3. A lot of them are saying it's the top offensive line of football. Okay? And if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts getting himself out of trouble because he can move, we would have had a lot of sacks today. We had him dead rights plenty of times, but because he's fast and can run, so the defense is obviously better. We couldn't do any of that pressure last year. I've seen some people say that Hutchinson was a bust this game. Hutchinson did his job. He's taking 2 to 3 people on and opening it up for other guys to get through there. You can't ask much more. He's also a rookie. It's his very first game. Obviously, there's going to be some things. The offense side, it's Ben Johnson's first game of calling plays. I'm surprised they didn't do more play action in the first half. You watch the second half of that game, and most of our success came off of play action passes. So why did they not do a few more play action passes in the first half? Especially since we had three drives in a row. And I think it was 2 drives of 3 and outs, the interception, and maybe another 3 and out. We had a bunch of 3 and out. We did at least 1 drive of our typical Detroit Lions run, pass. And I'm glad we didn't have that all the time. We did have a couple runs on third downs, but there was less of that than normal. I think we're heading more into the right direction. You have to understand it's week 1, right? And we competed against maybe one of the hardest teams we're facing all year. There was real talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and their roster and how they can possibly make the Super Bowl this year. It's not out of the reach. And they beat us by 3 points. What more can you say on that? For I think the guy, Tracy Walker, up until his punch and ejection, played a really great game. He had a sack. He was all over the field making tackles. Great game. I think our defensive rush, especially when you lined up, they called it the NASCAR package when I was watching it, but when they lined up all the defensive ends on like one side and let them rush, I mean, it was working. They just couldn't get Hurts because of his elusiveness and his quickness. Our linebackers, Rodrigo did not start the game very well. Rodrigo finished the game very well. He was biting on a lot of the fakes that allowed Jalen Hurts to get the step and get out. But towards the end, he was figuring it out. Anzalone definitely played better in the second half than he did in the first half. I didn't even really notice him in the first half, which is a linebacker you really should be noticing. It should be happening. Jeff Okudah came back. His first game in over a year. He had some ups and downs, but I thought he played pretty well. You got to remember, he tore his Achilles in week 1 last year and hasn't played since. And Achilles injuries are hard to come back from, and he looked really good. Ain't gonna lie, I thought it was a good one for him. You know, it's kind of like this podcast right now. I'm struggling a little bit because it's my very first one. I've never done one of these. So I'm out here trying. And like I said, I'm going to try this every week now after the game. After I cool off a little bit, good or bad. Yeah, I went and took a shower after the game, watched a little of the POD podcast. Great shout out to those guys, by the way. POD is great. I don't have any clips on this channel because I have not been authorized to use anything, and I'm not going to because I'm not going to get in trouble and lose my accounts. Just so you're aware, but there's no clips. But overall, I mean, when you look at the stats, when you look at everything, I thought our team played really well. We played, had a chance to win the game. Maybe a few ref calls could have gone our way that had been a little nicer. But as Detroit Lions players, fans, coaches, you should realize that we never get those calls. It's been well documented. There's YouTube videos out there that show how bad the calls are against us. I mean, it's a known thing. So I mean, you just gotta do what you can do with that. And I honestly still think 6 wins this year is possible. You know, that's my thing is last year we got 3 wins. I want to see improvement. If we get 5 wins, it's enough of improvement. I'd like to see at least 6, double what we did. You know, I think people are saying Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes should be out. I don't agree with that. I don't understand that. They're building a team. This is a second year of a rebuild. Most full-on rebuilds take longer than 2 years. And we're 1 game into our second year. The place was sold out. I get all the hype was huge because of Hard Knocks. We need to keep it up. They did perform decently well. Like I said, Goff had his ups and downs. When we needed Goff to be Goff, he was fine. In that second half, he did great. I won't say great. He did fine enough. But you also have to realize that people are dropping passes. And they weren't, some of the passes were bad, yes, but a lot of those passes weren't that bad. Especially the ones being dropped. So you just have to decide. But once again, I appreciate everybody out there. We're going to try to do this every week. This is the first one. It's probably a little shorter than some of the others. I just wanted to try this out. So I hope to see you guys again soon. Go Lions.